What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Kevin So and I'm on a mission to help new developers understand how to build cross-platform mobile applications with React Native. In the last episode, we built out our home screen, created a reusable movie card component, set up our bottom tab navigation, and gave the app that cinematic look with a beautiful highlight overlay. Now in this episode, we are taking things a step further by building out the movie details screen, where users can tap any movie on the list and see more information about that particular movie. We'll display everything from the movie's backdrop image, the title, and the overview, all presented in a clean and visually engaging layout. But beyond just the UI, this episode is also about understanding how data flows in React Native. We'll learn how to pass data through route parameters, like sending the movie details from the home screen and then accessing and displaying that data on the details screen. By the end of this video, you'll have a fully functional movie details page that feels professional, dynamic, and ready for real API data integration. Now, if this sounds interesting, do want to hit the like button, and if you're new to this channel, don't forget to smash the subscribe button as well. You can feel free to leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section, as this helps the channel grow a lot. Now let's jump right into it. All right, so now this is the home screen. As you can see, this is the home screen I built out earlier, and this is the details screen that we'll be building out. As you can see, we have this overview card here, which is going to display the image of that particular sort of a poster or backdrop image of that particular movie. And then we have the title here, the genre of the movie, and then the year as well. And then we have this star rating count over here. We have these two buttons and icons, also a brief overview of the movie. And then we have these, movie cards here with this title you may also like, similar movies that you may also like. So this is what we'll be building out in today's video. All right, awesome. Let's get right into it. So, we are on the home screen over here. Let's go ahead and then add a new route inside our app. So over here, we are going to add a details.tsx file inside the app folder, right? So this is the app folder. Let's make sure we are inside and then create a new file. We are going to call it details.tsx. All right. So let's use our favorite React Native snippets. Let's name it details screen, like so. Okay, and then inside our layout, we are going to add the details screen. So we come in here and then we are going to let me duplicate this so that I can edit it. So the name of the screen is going to be details. You have to make sure that the name is the same as the name you used for the file over here. Right, so that's what we have here, details. Okay, now let's go back into the app where we have our home screen. So our home screen is here. Let me clear out all the other files, close the other files so that this place will be clean. Okay, so now what we want to do, like I said earlier, is when you press on the movie card, we want it to route you to the details screen. So let's hook that up right away. So this is the movie card, right? Let's get into the movie card. This is the movie card. So we need to be able to route to the details screen when you press the movie card. All right, so we are going to use the Expo router for this. Okay, we're going to use the Expo router for the routing. So we are simply going to do like I've been doing, const router is equal to, I'm going to say use router, like so, or use router instead here from Expo router. Like so, make sure it's being imported from Expo router. And then this is the router. Okay, so now I'm going to use the router here for the navigation. So over here inside the movie card with the touchable opacity, we are going to say on press. So anytime you press on it, we want it to run this function. The function is simply going to be router.push. And then we push in the route, which is what? The details screen. Okay, like so. So let me reload this app. Let me restart it. Let's see yarn starts. You can use npx expo start or npm start, whichever one works for you. Okay, good. So back in here, now when you press on any of the movie cards, it should open up the details screen for you. So when I press on it, as you can see, we are on the details screen, just like how we want to. So that's what I'm seeing here, details screen. All right, now let's go back into the details screen and then start building it out. Okay, so as you can see here, this is the details screen. We have this overview card, sort of overview image thingy here, which is what we'll be doing, be adding first. And this whole view is inside a scroll view so that we can be able to scroll. So we are going to obviously make it scrollable and so on. So let's go ahead and then start building it out. So first of all, with this container view, let's add a style to it. So we are simply going to say style equals styles.container, like so. And we are going to go ahead and then apply the container styling to it. So for the container, it's going to be pretty basic. We are simply going to say flex1, and then the background color, you already guessed it, colors. Make sure you're importing it from the right source, constant colors. So colors.background, like so. So this should cover the whole screen, as you can see here. Good. Now let's add in the scroll view. Let's add in the scroll view, like so. Make sure I'm importing it from React Native. Okay, there. If you're not getting it, then the spelling is actually wrong. So that's why I'm not getting the auto import. All right. So we are importing it from React Native. Make sure it is scrollable back in here. And then let's add in a view that is going to hold the overview, right? We are going to add a view that is going to hold the box in here, which holds the overview image. So that's what I'm going to do now. Say view, and let's style this view. Okay, so the style, we are going to say styles.overview, like so. Now let's apply the overview styling. So the overview styling is simply going to say the height is going to be 400, and then the position should be, let's say, relative, like so. So the next thing we want to do is inside this overview box, we are going to add in an image. Okay, you're going to add in an image and make sure you're importing it from React Native. And this image is going to have its source from our local assets. And we are going to say require, and then we pass in the path /assets/images, and then we pass in the overview.png, similar to what we did on the home page or the home screen. Now let's see what we have now. Let's style this image. So for this image, or in fact, let's separate it. Let's say styles.overview image, like so. Now let's go ahead and then apply the styling to it, to the image. So for this image, we are simply going to say that the height should be 100%. So it's going to be 100% of the view it's being contained in, which simply means it's going to be 400 pixels. And then the width should also be 100%. And we're going to say that the object fit should also be what? Cover. It should cover the space. All right, so now this is what we have in here for the image. All right, so the next thing we want to add here now is this back button. Okay, this back button that when you press, it should route the previous screen. So within that, over here, we're going to add it over here. So we need it to be inside the safe area so that it doesn't overlap and goes out of view. So make sure you're importing the safe area view from React Native, and then we apply a style in here, like so. Apply a style in here. So let me try and change the layout so that it stops moving away. So this, let's move it to the top, like so. I don't think this is going to work. Restart the server. Okay. So let's go back. And then for the style, we are going to see, for the style, we're going to say styles dot cover. Okay, so that's going to be the style for the cover over the image. So we come over here, apply the cover, and I'm going to paste in the style for this cover. So the cover here is simply going to be the sort of transparent dark background that is going to be on top of the image. We are sort of covering over the image. You understand? So I'm going to paste this in here and then explain. So this is it, right? So we are saying that the cover should have a position of absolute. Now notice that we are using absolute because inside the wrapper, which is the overview, we have made the position to be relative. And since it's relative, when we apply absolute position over here, it's going to be relative to this particular view, okay, which is the overview, view over here. So the safe area view that we are applying in here should be relative. Okay, then this safe should actually be inside the view, like so, not outside. So that was a mistake. So the safe area view here should in fact be inside the view, like so. All right, so let's go back to there. So position to be absolute, the top 0, bottom 0, simply covering the whole image, right? So that's the whole point of using this top dimensions. And then the Z index is this value, so that it is always on top. We apply this background color as well to give this RGBA effect, as you can see. And then we are going to say the justify contents inside should be space between. I'm going to see why very soon. All right. Now, the next thing we want to do now is to add in the view for the back button. Okay. So let's add in a view here. And then let's apply a star. So for this star, we are going to see, we're going to use inline styling and say flex 1. And then padding horizontal should be 14, like so. Okay. And then let's add in attachable opacity, like so. So I'm importing it from React Native. And then this, we are going to say the active opacity should be 0.8, like this. And let's see the style. The style, let's make a style and see styles dot back btn wrapper back. I'm going to apply the styles inside the style sheet for this back button. So let's copy this, come over here, and let's apply the styling for this back button wrapper. So I'm going to paste in the styles over here, then I'll explain it. So over here, you can see we have the height to be 40 pixels, the width 40 pixels with this background color, a border radius of 50 so that it's very round. And then we are saying align items to be center, justify content center. We want the content within this wrapper to be inside the center, which is the back button. So the back icon, the actual back icon should and ought to be inside the center. Okay. And then finally, let's add in the function. So we are going to add the router. We're going to add a router from Expo router. See router.
but to use router from Expo router, grab the router, and then for the on press function, we are simply going to see router dot go back. Yeah, router dot back instead, not go back. Okay, like this. So anytime you press on the back icon, it should take us back. Okay. All right.
We are not seeing
It's in action. What is happening?
let's see. So we have the cover over here. It is background color, the back button 4040.
Reload this. All right.
So I had to reload.
The development server.
Okay. So as
You can see, we now have the cover on top of the image, so it's a bit darker now. And then you have the icon or the back button, so you can see now it is there, just that we need to add the icon. But when you press on it, it takes you back as it's supposed to.
So now let's add in the actual icon. So the icon we are going to be using it from Feather, Expo Vector icons from Feather. And for this, the name, we are going to say the name should be chevron left, like so. And let's add in a size of 26. And then the color should be colors dot text, like so. Okay. All right. So as you can see, this is the back button, and when you press on it, it takes you back, Just like how we want it to.
All right. So let's see what's next. Now the next thing that we want to do is, you notice that on the image,
Just like we did on the home page, you have this sort of fading color effects, like it's sort of blurring. So it sort of blends with the background color and then the image eventually. So we are going to be using the linear gradient to achieve that, like we did on the home screen. Similar to that, we're going to be doing the same thing over here. So let's quickly,
add in the linear gradients.
export linear gradients, make sure you're importing it. And we add in the properties that needs to be added in, like the colors. Okay, so for the colors, we are going to put it inside an array like we did. Transparent, the first color is going to be transparent. And then the next color is going to be colors dot background, like so. Colors dot background. So that will be the second color that we add in. Now let's apply some styles to the linear gradient. So I'm going to say styles
should be equal to styles dot blur, like so. Okay. So let's come down here and then let's apply the blur style. So for the blur, it's going to be pretty basic. We're simply going to say that the height should be 120 pixels, and then the width should also be 100%. Let's add in a padding of 14, and we see justify content should be space between, like so. Okay, so now
you can see we are getting this fade effect, sort of blur effect. So we are blurring the background color into the image, as you can see here. We're using the linear gradients to be able to achieve this. All right, awesome. So the next thing we want to add is the title. So the title of the movie, which is The Sandman, as you can see here. That's what we're going to be adding next. So obviously we're going to be using the text component from React Native. So let's make sure it's imported. Okay, it's already imported. Now let's add in the text and see The Sandman, like so. And let's add in a props number of lines, and let's just give it 1. And for the style, we are going to see font size should be 26. The font weight should be 600.
And then the color, hold on. The color should be colors dot text, like so. So this is the title we have here now, the Sandman. All right. Now the next thing is to add a text that holds the genre. So add a text in here. And the only thing we want to add, the only style we want to add here is the color. Okay, so for the color, Expo Go has just quit. So let me just restart it. Restart the app. This happens sometimes. So we just have to restart the development server so that it reopens it on the simulator. Okay, so for the color, we are simply going to use the colors dot we come and open it back in here, like so. Okay. So now let's add in the genre. Let's say 2025 in monster, horror, if I can spell, and then sci-fi. Okay, so that's what we have here now. Good. So the next thing we want to add is the rating. Okay, the star rating, where you have the star 9.5, rating thing that we have here. All right. Now here we are going to add in an icon, which is the star icon. And before we do that, let's start the view. And then we're going to give it, okay, before I start it, let me just pop in the component so that we see everything in action. Okay, so I'm going to see ant design. I'm going to be using the ant design icons, and the name is going to be star. The size will be 16 pixels, and then the color is going to be this hex code FF891B, like so. This is going to be the color of the star. And then let's add in the text, which is going to hold the rating. The text here. And it's going to be 9.5. Let's apply a style to it. For this style, we are simply going to say that the color is going to be same as what we have here. So let's just copy and paste it in there. The font width, on the other hand, is going to be 600. And then we are going to add a margin left of 6 pixels, like so. So now when we go back in here, you should see them on top of each other. So let's align them next to each other. We can do that by simply applying some styles in here. So for the styles, I'm simply going to say flex direction should be row. And then you're going to see align items center. So they are next to each other closely. So as you can see here, they are evenly next to each other and well aligned. All right. So that's that for the overview screen. Okay, that's that for the overview screen. Okay, so let's close out this view. This view simply holds the overview. So let's move to the next thing. And the next thing we want to add is these two buttons that we have over here. The watch now and then the download now buttons. Okay, so let's put them inside a view. For this view, I'm going to say the style should be padding of 14 pixels. And let's add in a view. And for this view, it's going to be wrapped around the two buttons. So we're going to apply our flex styling. And say flex direction should be row.
so that they are next to each other, and make sure they are well aligned. So align items should be center, like so. Okay, and then the next thing that we want to do is simply pop in the button. So we've already have this reusable buttons that we created earlier inside the components. We are going to be reusing them here, and you are going to see how easy it is to be doing this kind of things when you are, creating reusable components. So you can see just like that, we have the button over here with this default view. So we're just going to apply some props to it to make it look exactly how we want it to. Okay, so for this, let's add in a title. The title, we are simply going to say watch now, and we should see it being popped inside here like so. And let's add a style to it. So the style, for this style, we are simply going to say the background color should be colors dot primary, like so. And then let's see what we have now. So we have it down. Now we need to add in the icon. We already have an icon prop that we can pass into it. So for this, we are simply going to pass in an icon from font awesome. So font, I don't like this at all. Font awesome. So font awesome 5 rather. So I'm importing it like so. I don't like how the suggestions cover what I'm typing. Okay, so let's make the name. Okay, now I'm not getting the suggestions because I said I don't like it. Let's make sure it is coming from the right place. Okay, now the name here, still not getting the suggestions. Let me just type it anyway. The name here is going to be play. Okay, and then the size, let's give it a size of 16. And the color is going to be colors dot text, like so. So this is the button for the watch now. Pretty basic stuff and really easy to create just because we've made our buttons reusable. Now we're going to add in the second button. And for this button, let's add in a title. The title is simply going to be download. And it also needs an icon. So for this icon, we are going to be importing it from Feather. So we're going to say Feather. And the name is going to be download with a size 16. And let's add in the color. Wrong. The color is supposed to be here. Color. We are going to use colors dot text, like so. So yeah, these are the two buttons that we will be using. Okay, so let's move on to the next thing. So the next thing I want to add is these two icons, save and share. All right, pretty basic stuff. Okay, so for this also, we want to put them inside a view. And for this view, we're going to say applying the styles here. And let's say styles dot btn wrapper, like so, buttons wrapper. I mean, you could name it anything at all. So buttons wrapper. And then let's apply the styles in there. And let me just paste it in here so that we can save some typing time. So flex direction row, align item center, margin vertical 16. That's the only things we are applying for this particular
So let's pop in the styles. So as you can see here, it is not just an icon, but you have a text underneath it. So we can put the whole thing inside some sort of wrapper. Probably detachable wrapper, since it should be something that is pressable, so that we can press on these views. Okay, so I'm going to put in a touchable opacity here, and I'm simply going to say over here that the active opacity should be 0.6, and with a style of align, let's say align items center, like so. Now you can pass in the icon. We can pass in the icon. The icon is going to be feather. We're going to be using an icon from feather, and the name is going to be bookmark, like so. The size 16 with a color of our text. Okay, and let's add in a text in here. So for this text, I'm gonna say save, like so. Let's start the save. Simply going to be font size of 10. The color is going to be list of text, like this. Okay, so then we have that. So since we are doing a similar thing, let me just copy this and duplicate it down here, like so. But we'll be changing it slightly. This text is going to be shared, and then for the icon, I'm going to be using, instead of feather icon, or instead of feather, I'm going to be using iron icons from Vector, Expo Vector icons. And the name of the icon that we'll be using is paper plane, like this paper plane outline. So that's the name of the icon that we will be using. Okay, so you can see they are too close to each other, so we can simply add in another star here and say margin left should be 6 to sort of create a bit of space between the items. Okay, I think let me make it 16. See how that looks. Let's do 18. Shift down. Alright, this is cool. This is cool. And we have the icons over there. Okay, so now we have that icons. Let's close these views. Let's close out these buttons views as well, so that we keep everything clean. Let's close this button view. Good. So the next thing we want to do now is to add in the view that holds the overview of the movie. So we have overview and then the text of the movie. Okay. So we are simply going to add in a text here. Or not this text area, text. And we're going to put in overview, like so. Let's add in a star. The color is going to be colors dot primary, like so. Font width is going to be 600, and then the font size 12, or let's use 18 instead, so that we make it a little more bigger than usual. Okay, so that's the overview text. Now let's add in the summary. Okay, and for this summary, let me paste in the text for it. Let me paste in the text for it, and then let me apply the style for the overview summary. So for this, I'm also going to say the color is going to be colors dot text with a margin at the top of 10, and a font size section also pretty much completed. All right, pretty basic stuff. So then finally, what we want to do now is to add this. You may also like view over here. I mean, we've already created a similar component inside the home screen. You can simply reuse it. Okay, so when you go to the home, we have this card here. So let's simply copy everything over here and come back to the details, and we are going to paste the whole thing here. Now for this section header thing here, let's make this, you may also like, and this section header, you notice that we created it inside the home screen. So let's grab this out to make it reusable. So inside here, our components are going to create a new file, name it section header.tsx, like so. Say RNFES, and let's paste the section header over here. Okay, now let's import the things that we need to import first, the colors, and then we need to add the style. So let's go back to this home page, and this is the section header style. Grab it, come over here, and then paste it in here, like so. Okay, so now in here we can now import the section header from where we just created inside the component, and then we can also use it inside the details screen as well. So now I'm inside the details screen, so we can now use the section header. Go back in here, let's import the flat list from React Native, and these movies as well, we can import it from our work data, and we can import the movie card as well. Okay, so come in here. Good. So now as you can see, we have the detail screen, and you see how easily we were able to add this component before.
Because we've been able to create this sort of reusable components, we can, reuse it all over our app and have it work as we want. So this way you can move very fast and then create components, create screens very swiftly and very fast. Okay. All right. So this is the detail screen, basically pretty simple.
We've been able to add
the overview card
with the title and the
genre, the stars,
the star rating, and
these two buttons, watch now, download, and these icons. Also, we've added this overview text as well. And we've been able to reuse the components that we've already created to make our life easy, and change the title you may also like, and then add in the movies here as well. All right, cool. If this video is interesting and you've learned a lot, do well to hit the like button. I would appreciate that a lot. It push the channel, and then it makes this video available to a wider audience so that they can also, enjoy this video as well. Hit the like button and then subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Feel free to leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section as well. I'm going to appreciate all the interactions that you apply on all these videos. It helps the channel grow, and I'm going to appreciate them a lot. Thank you very much for watching up to this point, and see you in the next episode of this project build.